Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin King and I will be your storyteller for the video. Tonight we have a few creepy stories ahead, so if that is something that you like, stick around because I'm full of bad ideas. Guess what I'm excited for? If you are enjoying what's on the channel, please subscribe, please give the video a like, and don't forget to comment down below which story is your favorite. But thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel so far. I do appreciate it very much. Without wasting any more time, enjoy the video. So I want to first preface that I don't know much about skinwalkers and other creatures of similar nature. I recently started learning of their potential, so I feel I'm willing to learn and be educated on the topic. There's this park my girlfriend and I go to smoke a lot, and we've encountered the same dog-like thing multiple times. It's always nighttime when we go. It looks like a really huge black dog with round bear-like ears and yellowish eyes. The first few times we saw it, we didn't think much of it, but it kept just spawning in. It never made a sound and always just stared at us and followed us around creepily. We've encountered it while high and while sober on multiple occasions that we stopped going to the park entirely. We'd be walking from parking lot to park and would just see the thing emerge from behind a tree and follow us and try to block our path back to the car. We had to run and jump a fence just to get away from it once too. We've never had a single insanely creepy interaction, beside the time we were at the deepest corner of the park, bordering a small forest, and had to jump 2 fences to avoid the thing. I have a theory that it could be a stray, but it really did not act like a dog at all. It didn't really even feel alive. It felt like it was just monitoring us, for some reason, but it was really eerie. I was probably 15 or 14 at the time, midsummer time. Me and 2 of my friends left a girl's house late at night, basically sneaking out. She lived deep kinda in the countryside, about a 45-minute walk to get to the city line. We left about 2 in the morning. Me and my 2 friends, we stepped out of her country subdivision road onto a main paved country road. We took a left onto the main road. We look on our right, you could basically see just road and woods each direction with some mailboxes. But on the right side of our opposite direction, at the top of our end view, on the road we could see just a white light or reflector. Obviously that wasn't on our mind. Our mind was not being caught by cops or anything out past curfew. We walked left the opposite direction, as walking cars occasionally drove by. So to be safe, we would hide in the woods or tree line every passing car just in case a cop. Every time we would watch a car go by, our opposite traveling direction, basically, we would look back and the white object was getting closer quite fast. You could only see it in the headlights. Once the headlights were gone, it was basically gone. We continued walking, all seeing it just confused, but we didn't care to wait. We got to about the town line. This thing was probably only 200-500 feet behind us again. Could only see it in the passing headlights. None of the cars seemed to notice. When the creature was close enough, it had translucent white skin with big black hole eyes, long limbs, looked pretty skinny, but still could have been anywhere between 6 to 8 maybe more feet. We get into the start of town with house division streets, basically townhomes. Every 4 way we got to our opposite block street over, we could see the thing walking our pace. When I got a side view of it, I noticed its arms hung down pretty low, like it was looking at us, but wasn't. Me and my friends at night weren't on any drugs and snuck outside at night quite a bit, so it wasn't just some fear or mistake. We were pretty, calm or casual because it kept a distance. We were about in town and more worried about ourselves getting caught by the law. To this day I still ride my bike around town at night and have for years haven't seen anything at night like that since or before. I sometimes guess if it was just my vision, but both my friends saw it and definitely seen it 3 more times without headlights at opposite 4 ways. It was a grey kinda cloudy night. I'm 25, male. I live in Utah and I'm curious if any of you have seen anything like this before. I'm pretty sure I saw a wendigo or a skinwalker. I know it sounds strange or crazy. I don't believe in those things and I'm regularly skeptical when it comes to the paranormal. This happened to me when I was 17 and in high school and living with my parents. My house at the time was in a very small town. The backyard faced open empty fields and mountains for miles before you reached another civilization at all. My best friend lived next door and shared this field as our backyard in a way. I have to explain that his house was built on a different street that ended in the field with a small cul-de-sac. I think there were supposed to be more houses built down the street to expand the town, but they clearly never got around to it. So this driveway was basically in this cul-de-sac, even though no other houses were built there. This matters later in the story. I used to stay the night at my friend's house a lot in high school because I didn't have the best relationship with my parents. Every once in a while, we would wake up to hear dragging and a weird gargling sound from the back porch. His room was a basement room with the windows well to the back porch. It would happen maybe a couple times a month, but whenever we would gather the courage to check, nothing would be back there. This happened for years. One night haunts my friend and I to this day. My friend was getting ready to move, and we would stay up all night playing games and watching movies. We decided to go on a music drive just to vibe. So we hopped in his truck with high beams and swung out of the driveway, turning them on towards the field to use the roundabout. Abnormally large, particularly its limbs that seemed to fold under itself in an unnatural way. Its pale skin clung to it like it had to be stretched onto it. But the part that still sends shivers down my spine is its face. Its jaw hung open to this gaping black maw, like a snake unhinging its jaw to eat. Its black eyes glistened in the light as it looked at us. But just as it turned to see us, it quickly scurried backwards, almost like it was on rewind, into the bush of the field. My friend and I were pale as ghosts. We both looked at each other like, "Did you see that too?" We were shaken. Let's just say we tried to have a good rest of the night, but we couldn't believe what we just saw. We ended up just sitting there in his basement with guns ready and waiting to hear the gargling and dragging again, but we never did. I now don't live in that town anymore. There are times when I visit there though. That empty field still feels like it's watching and waiting. Even though I can't see it, I can still feel like it's out there. I live in a suburban townhouse neighborhood in PA with woods surrounding it. I hear screeches a lot during the summer and fall due to foxes, so it's not unnormal for me to hear them. But what's weird about this encounter is it's the middle of winter and foxes usually aren't out. I live in the basement of my house with a back door and light for outside. Tonight on January 8th, just past 12 a.m., I heard a baby scream. Like I said, it's not uncommon due to the foxes, but this sounded like an actual baby. So I unlocked my back door and turned on the light. I heard another screech, but this was different. It sounded deeper. So, like I usually do, I whistled. It responded with another screech. I'm still assuming it's a fox at this point, but I'm always interested to see if it could be something else. I whistled again, but it didn't make a screech. Instead, I heard a whistle back. Now I'm a little freaked out at this point. I whistled again and it whistled back. A couple more whistles and screeches I don't hear for a couple minutes, so I shut my back door, lock it, and turn off the light. As I'm currently writing this, I hear it again and open my door and turn the light on. Just a minute ago, it sounded like people talking in the distance. I want to finish writing this before I listen again, so I need you guys' opinion. What could this be? Is it a fox? Is it a skinwalker? Or is it something else? It's currently 12:27, and I still hear the screeches. Roughly 8 years ago, during spooky season, I was staying with my boyfriend's mom and her baby daddy at the baby daddy's house. My boyfriend was away in another town visiting his grandmother and friends. My boyfriend's mom and his two sisters and I were watching a scary movie when we somehow ended up in a conversation about how the house we were in had a history of being haunted. 15-year-old me absolutely loved the occult and witchcraft, especially Ouija boards at the time. You see where this is going, right? I proposed the idea of making and using one. Stupid idea, I know. And everybody was all in and up for a spooky October evening. I don't remember what the session consisted of regarding questions or answers, but there's a very good reason for that. About 15 minutes into our session, we get to talking about our creepy experiences. A woman's blood-curdling scream erupted from the downstairs basement, echoing up the stairs to the living room where we were. The baby daddy was asleep, mind you, and even if he hadn't been, there was no way in hell that he could have produced such a terrifying noise. Not a chance. The scream was not a regular scream. It sounded like a few different things. In one way, it sounded like a woman was being brutally stabbed to death and was in excruciating pain. Specific, I know, but I'm serious. In another way, it almost sounded otherworldly, straight up demonic. It reminded me of what I would imagine a banshee to sound like if I ever heard one. We all panicked. All 4 of us heard it. It sounded so clearly like a physical person, so much so that we were scared that someone was actually really down there. So the mom went to check to make sure there wasn't. We said goodbye and ended the session. To this day, I'm still unsure if it was either a lost spirit calling for help or if it was a dark entity making its presence known. I even speculate still if it's possible that the entity that made that sound was a banshee. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know which video was your favorite. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel quite a lot and it's growing perfectly. So thank you so much to everyone who's making the channel just grow. It's awesome. If you want to support the channel in other ways, there is a Patreon link down in the description. But until next time, bye bye.